Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to Mindful Combat. So before I get started with the breakdown for this video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped me reach my goal of 400 subscribers. I made it just in the nick of time for the deadline I had set, and I want to give you a big massive thank you because it couldn't have happened without each and every single one of you. Hitting 400 subscribers is a big deal for me, and it's a super big deal because it gets me close to being halfway to 1,000 subscribers. So on the back of that, I'm going to set a new goal for us, for our platform, to get this channel growing as big as possible. My new goal for us is for us to hit 500 subscribers by the end of March. Hopefully by the end of March we should be able to hit 500 subscribers. That's a very achievable goal, so I'm going to continue to need the support of each and every single one of you guys. Help me by sharing these videos out to any fight fan that you know, engaging in the conversation, liking the video if you like it, and if this is the first time you've been on my channel, hitting the subscribe button and sticking around to get involved in the discussion with all of us and the great community I'm building here on YouTube under Mindful Combat. Now, walking away from the awkward part of my introductions, let's get into the part that I'm good at, and that's the fight breakdown. So for this video, the fight I'm going to be breaking down is one that a lot of fight fans has been clamoring for a long time, and not the fight in itself, is the debut of Ben Askren into the UFC. And Ben Askren is going to be fighting one of the most respected veterans in the history of mixed martial arts, Robbie Lawler, the ruthless one himself. Robbie Lawler, a former UFC welterweight world champion who achieved incredible things in a resurgence the likes of which has never been seen before in MMA, looks to come back from his layoff after his loss to Rafael dos Anjos and welcome Ben Askren to the UFC with a rude awakening. He's hoping to show the former ONE FC, ONE Championship, and the former Bellator welterweight world champion that the UFC is not for everyone. Now, this is a big, major fight. It's a big fight because Ben Askren has made a lot of noise coming into this fight. Made a lot of noise, been calling out a lot of people. He's came out with Marty from Nebraska, which is going to stick forever. And there's a lot of people very excited about this fight. I'm one of them. Now, let's talk about the fight itself. Outside of the divisional main fight, which is Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman happening now, you got Colby Covington, and then you got Santiago Ponzinibbio, and then but after that you haven't really got no clear-cut number one contenders. What makes this fight interesting is that Robbie Lawler's already been knocked out by Tyron Woodley, and then you got Ben Askren, who said he wouldn't fight Tyron Woodley. So what's next for the division? What's next for the winner of this fight should be interesting. But a key thing to take away from this is that Ben Askren has said he would be happy to drop down to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now imagine that fight if Ben Askren can get past Robbie Lawler. All of this provides so much great material for us to think about. But before we get ahead of ourselves here, let's talk about this fight here and let's break down this fight. So as with every fight, let's start with the tail of the tape. So Robbie Lawler, the veteran mixed martial artist who's been fighting since before I can remember, he's been fighting for years, the early 2000s we're talking, is 36 years old coming to this fight. 36 years old, and he's not a young 36-year-old. He's got a lot of wear and tear on his body, he's got a lot of mileage, he's been at this for a long time, as opposed to Ben Askren, who at 34 years old has been fighting for about a decade, and he's had a nice long layoff coming over from ONE Championship. He hasn't had the wars that Robbie Lawler has had, so this is a very, very intriguing fight, and they're at very different points in their careers despite their relatively similar age. Records. So coming into this fight, Robbie Lawler holds a record of 28 wins and 12 losses. He's 1-2 in his last 3, those of course being losses to Tyron Woodley and Rafael dos Anjos. Sandwich in the middle is a win over Donald Cerrone, and he's taken on Ben Askren, who's coming into this fight with a trying to remember his record there. He's coming into this fight with a record of 18 wins, 0 losses, and 1 no contest. He's never tasted loss in his career. So this is going to be a very, very intriguing fight. Let's talk about the sizing. Robbie Lawler stands at 5'11" in this fight. Ben Askren's coming in at 5'10", so as Mike Goldberg would say, they're virtually identical there. Robbie Lawler has a 74-inch reach, and Ben Askren has a 71-inch reach. So Robbie Lawler comes in with a 3-inch reach advantage, which is key because Robbie Lawler is a striker, so he's going to want to keep his distance from the grappler and use that reach advantage. That's something to consider here. Their fighting styles. Robbie Lawler has that style where he's going to try to sprawl and he's going to try to dominate you on the feet. He's a striker by trade, and that's what he does in these fights. He's going to come in, he's going to try to keep this fight standing, and he's going to try to land heavy and meaningful shots throughout the course of the fight and try to get the stoppage. And he's fighting Ben Askren, who, if you have never seen him fight, firstly, go and watch some of his fights. Secondly, he's a wrestler who just smothers you. He's a smothering wrestler. He takes you down, he dominates you. He's an incredibly high level wrestler, and he uses that in his fights in mixed martial arts. And I've never been someone who's had a problem with watching that style of fighter, because to me mixed martial arts is about all styles, and if there's a dominant wrestler being able to dominate with his wrestling, well, it's the striker's problem to be able to stand up. It's not the wrestler's problem not to use his skill set. It would be stupid if he didn't utilize his key skill set. So I enjoy watching Ben Askren fight, and there's been a lot of talk about Ben Askren being boring. I am not of that opinion, so that's something that bears considering into this fight. Let's think about some of their key wins. Now, for Ben Askren, you got to go early into his career for his Bellator days, and you're looking at wins over the likes of Jay Haran, who at the time was on a 10-fight winning streak. You're looking at Lyman Good, who was the Bellator welterweight champion. At the time, he was undefeated. I believe he was 12-0 into that fight, and now he fights in the UFC, just lost to Damian Maia. And he's good. He's a good fighter. Douglas Lima, who's world class, and you got a win over Andrei Koreshkov, who's beaten the likes of Ben Henderson, Douglas Lima himself. He's been a former welterweight champion, so he's also a very talented fighter. So those are very key wins. Robbie Lawler has got some incredible wins on his ledger. 2 wins over Rory MacDonald, a win over Johnny Hendricks. He's beaten the likes of Donald Cowboy Cerrone, Matt Brown, Jake Hellenberger. He's got some very good wins. So this is a very interesting style fight, because of the two, Robbie Lawler has got the much more high level wins, particularly in terms of in the public sphere and the fighters that everyone knows about. X factors coming into this fight is going to be, for Robbie Lawler, his power and his stand-up. He's going to have a vast advantage on stand-up, and for Ben Askren, it's going to be his wrestling and his freshness. That's going to be his X factors in this fight that could be key in whether or not he gets the win. What do I think some of the issues are? For Robbie Lawler, the issue has to be wear and tear at this stage of his career. He's had 40 fights. He's been around for a long time. He's had a lot of wars. And, you just think about the war with Rory MacDonald. Think about the war with Carlos Condit, another key win, but for Robbie Lawler, by the way. Think about the war with Carlos Condit. Think about the war with Dos Anjos. Think about the injuries he's had. Think about how long he's been around. All the way back to 2004 when he got knocked out by Nick Diaz. He's been around a long time. What's he got left in the tank? And then for Ben Askren, the issue has to be experience under the spotlights. This is going to be the brightest spotlights he's ever fought under. UFC 235 is a humongous card. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention on him, a lot of people waiting to see what Ben Askren's got. So this is going to be a very interesting fight to see how it plays out. How do I see the fight playing out now? So whilst I think Robbie Lawler is going to be able to defend some of the early takedowns, I think when the fight comes out, I think Robbie Lawler is going to be able to come out and defend early takedowns. I think he's going to be hesitant to throw kicks, because each kick is going to come with a takedown attempt. He's going to be a boxer in this fight, in my opinion. I think he's going to come out, he's going to try to box in this fight, and I think he's going to have a lot of success early. Ben Askren is going to be the much fresher fighter, and I'm expecting him to carry on the pressure and just try to do whatever he's got to do to get Robbie Lawler to the ground. And I think ultimately this fight is going to be a throwback to Strikeforce, where Tim Kennedy fought Robbie Lawler, and I think the fight's going to play out very similarly to Robbie Lawler's fight with Tim Kennedy. And I think we're going to see Ben Askren winning his debut, going 19-0 to start off with his UFC career, and winning a decision. So guys, let me know in the comments. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think about how you think this fight is going to go. Let me know if you think I'm completely off the mark and that Ben Askren's a hype job, and etc. Just let me know. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Mind for Combat.